Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of our PRISM Presents podcast. My name's Dan Yates, pronouns he, him, and I am the co-chair of PRISM, which is our LGBTQ plus network.
My name is Nat Wilding, and I am the other co-chair of our PRISM network at the Co-op.
Thanks for joining us. So for the first episode, we are going to talk all things Pride. Because this is the first podcast, I'm just going to explain a bit about what it'll involve. So first of all, the reason we're doing a podcast is that we want to connect with our members because time's poor and we want to connect in short, sharp ways that are accessible to colleagues from across our business. How it's going to work, we'll talk about subject. The subject is Pride. And me and Nat will share our lived experiences around Pride, some stories, some facts about where we are, some facts about the community at large. And we'll also have a section where we've invited colleagues to submit questions that they may not ask in everyday life. So stay tuned. Nat, where are we today?
So today we're coming from the Molly House in the Gay Village in Manchester. It's on Richmond Street. So the name Molly House isn't just like a fun name they decided to go with. The reason they called this pub the Molly House is because back in the 18th century, Molly houses were the names for the places where the gay community and transgender and trans community used to meet, because homosexuality was illegal and they used to meet in Molly houses to have relationships away from prying eyes. So people finding out that you were like homosexual, you could get publicly shamed, you could get fined, you could even get executed for it back in those days. So the interesting thing about Molly houses, the authorities used to track them down and close them down all the time. They used to get raided. People, like I said, used to get fined for it. And most of the history we have about Molly houses has come from those records, those police records, because the Molly House records were so secret that nobody's ever found that many of them. So all the information we have is about Molly houses. And interestingly, there is a short film on Channel 4 called Sweetheart, which goes into some of the history of Molly houses through the eyes of someone who is looking for a safe space after they've been caught with a man in the street. And it's a really interesting insight into what Molly houses used to be. And it's dirty and horrible, but there's like a love and acceptance in the room at the same time. And so quite an important piece of history in our community, Molly houses. So I'm really proud that we're coming from here today and they let us use this space.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the space as if it's like a safe space, and actually that's what Pride is about, right? It's creating a safe space. Tell me what your first experience of Pride was.
Oh, my first experience of Pride was London Pride. I think it was 4 years ago. I've never been to a Pride before, so what a first Pride to go to, London Pride, like capital city, one of the biggest prides in the country. And it was just so amazing, not just seeing so many people from our community and allies coming out to support the day, but all the people lying in the streets reflecting that back at us. And there's always that bit of fun where you go past they always cordon them off. There's always a little square with people who oppose Pride, and they're waving their placards in the air and reading from the Bible and various bits and pieces. So like seeing how few of them there were against all these supporters and all the people marching, and it's just absolutely such an amazing experience. That was with the Co-op, and I was 50, so wow. That's in quite recent history. So what about you, Dan?
Right, so my first Pride was Leeds, because that's where I'm from. And I didn't do the parade because I couldn't be bothered. But I did go to the after pie, which is in the street. And I don't know why, but I was dressed as Peter Pan. And I genuinely can't remember why, but there were, I don't know, we were dressed as Disney characters. There was a Minnie Mouse. There was a Woody character, obviously. And it was 2010, I want to say. But yeah, like, I think I was just overwhelmed with like the electricity because I'd never been to Pride before. I was a bit of a crap gay where I just didn't interact with the community. And then when I went there, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I've loved it ever since. And like, obviously I've moved to Manchester. Manchester Pride is one of the biggest in the country. Mm-hmm. We're aware of sort of the drama around Manchester Pride last year. I'm glad it's happening this year still. And hopefully we'll come to Molly House again during it this year.
If we can get in.
If we can get in. Yeah.
It's funny you should say that actually about not being part of your community when you were younger, because when I first came out as trans, I did everything in my power to avoid the trans community because I felt that in numbers, then it would become more obvious.
Yeah.
But I learned with time that in numbers, actually there's more power.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might be more obvious that there's a group of trans women there, but we're powerful and we have our voices and, you know, we're living our lives. So, which is brilliant. And trans men, obviously. But yeah, so it's really interesting, like a little bit of a comparison. It's like, yeah, I'm this, but you know, don't want to talk to anyone else like me. But,
yeah. What do you think the biggest misconception about Pride is?
Biggest misconception, in my mind, biggest misconception I feel is that it's just a big old party and we're all out there having a great time and shoving our sexuality in people's faces. And it's not that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, the history is so much different.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to talk to that a little bit? Like,
well, look, so we'll try not to be preachy. So the whole point of this podcast is that we don't talk to you in a preachy way. You know, we've all got different views. That's absolutely fine. But we want to approach topics in light-hearted ways, injecting our stories in the hope that you actually engage with it and it might, you know, help you challenge your own thinking and attitudes. One of the misconceptions I think is around us not needing Pride anymore. And some of the statistics I've got. So there are still 67 countries in the world where it's actually criminal to have a same-sex relationship. And people might think, oh yeah, but that's not the UK, like we're fine. But actually, the UK is ranked 22 out of 49 European countries in the European Rainbow Index. And we used to be ranked first in 2015. And we've slipped right down, and it's the lowest position that we've had so far. And I think that is a testament to why Pride is needed, because it just shows how, although it might look on the surface that we've progressed, actually we've regressed a lot of the ways, particularly for trans and non-binary people.
Absolutely. Trans people and non-binary people and intersex people are having their rights eroded away. And I think it's important to say that this, very often when this happens, it's often the start of something bigger.
Yeah.
And we've already seen the rollback on EDI in America, and like starting with trans people in this country, we're starting to see a rollback here as well.
Yeah.
Which is a bit scary.
Yeah. And Shireen did talk about that in the podcast, the Windows to Inclusion podcast that Zahir runs.
Oh,
Shireen, yeah. So tell me a bit more about your Pride plans for this year.
So this year I'm having kind of a year off. I normally do Bournemouth Pride because that's my local Pride. I normally do London, Manchester because it's the second best Pride, and I do Hull because it's the best Pride. But this year I'm just going to do Bournemouth and Hull. Excuse me. Partly for financial reasons, and partly for family reasons, because I've got another something clashes with Manchester Pride. The Bournemouth Pride is Bournemouth and Hull Prides I lead. Bournemouth Pride is quite a small one. It's just a little local one down on the south coast. Bournemouth famous for its old people, but it's actually got quite a thriving gay population, LGBTQ population. And it's always a really good party.
Yeah.
And then Hull Pride, this will be our third or fourth year at Hull Pride. Hull Pride I also lead, I co-lead it with Kate Carroll, who works at Co-op Wholesale, as it's now called. And that was our first joined Pride with our wholesale business, and it's still the only one that wholesale kind of has the main lead in it. So yeah, that's my plans for this year. How about yours?
Do you know what? I like how you said that you're having like lucky, and yet you're going to do Pride.
Well, it's only 2 Prides. We've got 4. And then we were talking about Sparkle as well, but we're not going to do Sparkle.
Yeah.
Sparkle, if anybody doesn't know, it's a trans and non-binary event that's held in the Village in Manchester every year. I think it's July.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the largest trans and non-binary event in Europe, if not the world. And it's well worth a visit. It's 3 days long, and we wholeheartedly support it, and we just wish we could support it a little bit more, but we can't.
Yeah, good point. And do you know what? It might be worth mentioning, if you want to get involved in Pride this year, what I'd say is join PRISM's Viva Engage page, or become a member of the network. We'll send you all the information you need to sign up to Prides. And if you want to even be a local Pride lead, we would very much appreciate that. That role means that you will basically be our point of contact in the area where the Pride takes place, ensuring 1, people turn up to it, and 2, just arranging stuff on the day so everyone has fun. I think I've got it busy this year for Pride. I wasn't planning it. So what's happening? Right, so Hull Pride. Went to last year, pleasantly surprised. I don't know what I was expecting. Manchester, obviously, in August. And then literally last night, my partner Adam said, shall we go to Winter Pride in Gran Canaria? So taking it on the road. And I don't think I can. Don't think my liver's going to cope. Fab. And do you want to tell me a bit more about Trans Pride? Because obviously we have Pride as people know it, but actually, and you mentioned this about Sparkle, Trans Pride is actually a separate Pride.
Yes, Trans Pride is a separate Pride. There's a Trans March in London on the 24th of July, I think it is. It clashes with Hull Pride, unfortunately, which I can't attend. No, I can attend Hull Pride. I can't attend Trans Pride. Let me just straighten that one out, which is a shame because I'd love to go. And interestingly, we had a few years ago, and I'll try and find a link and I'll put it somewhere on our page and maybe in the notes of this podcast. We had the person who founded Trans Pride. We interviewed her for Trans Awareness Week a few years ago, Lucia Blake. Absolutely lovely woman. Such a power. So, but last year, after the announcement from the EHRC last year and all of that mess, there was actually 100,000 people turned up at Trans Pride, which they've never seen attendance like that before. 100 people, trans people, non-binary people, and most importantly, their allies turned up to support that, which is just such an amazing thing to happen. Especially looking at it from my community, seeing that support is just it was uplifting, because last year, I'm not going to lie, is a tough year. It's not much easier this year because we're still hanging in the balance. But last year was a really tough year because we just didn't. Well, speaking from my point of view, obviously everybody's experience is different. But from my point of view, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I could go to the toilet in public anymore. I knew I could legally, but I didn't know if I could without ending up in hospital.
Yeah, and you have touched on this actually. It's a nice segue, and we were talking to the producers before. Should those not part of the LGBT community, whether allies or not, be allowed to participate in Pride? What do you think?
I think so. This links back to the misconceptions we were talking about earlier on. So I think yes, absolutely, 100% allies should be part of Pride. It should be actually attending Pride and watching. I have anybody can come, but actually walking in the parade itself, then I think, and call me out if you think I'm being discriminatory, but I think if they're not marching for the right reasons, then they shouldn't be there, because the parade is a party. Yes, said it wasn't, but it is a celebration of what we've done or what we've achieved at but it's also a protest.
Yeah.
And if they're not attending with that mindset that, yes, this is a laugh and it's fun and I'm with my mates and I'm having a great time, but also recognizing that message is there, that we're also supporting people in those countries where they haven't got those rights. People in this country that are still fighting for those rights, like lesbians have only recently been able to have IVF treatment by following the same steps as a
heterosexual couple.
Thank you very much. You know, and that's only in the last couple of years. So there's still fights that they're trying to win. And so I think I'll use an example from something that, you know, that's happened in the past. So exemplum, I think they call it. So our queer group, where I live, down in Dorset, we had one of our local councillors visit. She was in her 60s. She was a staunch ally. She said she was a staunch ally. And she was all, you know, she was all up for the LGBT community, and she came to support. We were having a talk about Section 28. We had an artist there. He was doing a play about Section 28, and he'd come to talk to us to get our ideas and our thoughts and our memories of it. So she was there. I'm an ally. I stand up for the LGBT community. She knew nothing about Section 28, nothing at all. She never even knew it existed.
Do you want to just tell people a bit about what Section 28 is?
Section 28 was it was Margaret Thatcher, wasn't it, brought it in. I can't remember the timeline.
Is it the 80s?
I think it was the 80s.
Late 88, I've got in my head.
Have you? Possibly. I don't know. I was very young then. It's a long time, and you weren't even born. But it was don't teach homosexuality, basically. Like, schools were not allowed to talk about, teach, reference homosexuality, homosexual lifestyles. Basically, like, at the moment, trans people are being accused of transing kids. Margaret Thatcher was accusing gay people of gaying kids. It was, which was totally ridiculous. It got overturned, which was amazing, but it took a long time to do it. But yeah, this woman didn't know anything about it, and she claimed herself an ally. And also in that session, she had so many stories about her life, but none of them involved the LGBTQ community. She was comparing her life to the LGBTQ community. It wasn't even in an empathetic way. And additionally, she was also saying things like, oh, well, back in my day, there was people who wouldn't be touched by a gay doctor. And I was like, there's still people like that. There's still people who would rather die than be touched by a gay doctor. And she was totally unaware of this. And to me, that's not an ally. That's somebody who's doing a little bit of flag waving and I'm on your side, but not doing the homework behind it. And if people don't have that kind of knowledge, then are they, like, when they're marching with us, are they really an ally? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think what you're saying is, and I agree with you, allyship isn't performative. So it's not showing up at a Pride event, waving a flag around and then disappearing for a year and coming back out again to the same Pride event the next year and having a party and whatnot. I think true allyship is actually showing up in the bad times as well as the good. And so I think what you're saying is have authentic reasons to participate, and actually that needs to transcend Pride. It needs to be throughout every community. Show your support however you can. Be there for the bad times as well as the good. And therefore, you've probably earned the right to be at Pride. And you know, I don't think we should be exclusive. I think we need to invite those that have different perspectives in to show that actually we are welcoming, even if they're not.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, they're not going to learn if we don't teach them.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes it helps to know that, to have the right mindset in the first place.
Yeah.
Because some people, if they don't learn, they're just going to see it as a party every time.
Yeah, you have to meet people where they're at, don't you?
You do.
Really. And I say this to people all the time, like, if you are entitled to think the way you want to think, just as much as I am. What I shouldn't do is stop you from thinking the way you want to think just because it doesn't align with what I believe. What I should try and do is maybe like encourage you to challenge your own thinking, and that is not through, you know, cancel culture or shutting you down straight away. It's actually listening is really important in that conversation, to try and help people see different points of view. And I think, again, that's another reason why Pride is important, because it provides that platform for people to see different points of view, right?
Absolutely.
So we've had some questions from colleagues that maybe are not comfortable enough asking in a workplace, or maybe are a bit spicy. So we're going to actually talk about one of them right now, and it probably links a bit to what we just said. So the question we're going to discuss is why do we not have straight pride now?
So the one argument I often see against having straight pride is, show me the country where it's illegal for a man and a woman to walk down the road holding hands.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. I mean, there's a lot of talk about privilege, but I think the way that people view privilege can sometimes, I think they understand the word privilege a little bit. Sometimes it's like there is such a thing as straight privilege, but that doesn't mean they have more money. It doesn't mean they have better schooling. It doesn't mean they have a better job. What it means is they can actually just live their lives without a second thought.
Yeah.
They can leave the house with their wife or whatever, walk down the street, go to the pub, walk home again, and there's no fear. Whereas people from our community, in certain situations, definitely have to try and second guess everything they do.
Yeah.
They don't have that privilege of living their lives without thought. And that is why we don't have straight pride, because we should have that privilege as well. And that's what this is the protest part of pride. We want that privilege. We want to be able to have a life like Fred and Hilda next door, who have zero worries about their relationship. Whereas my wife and I, you know, we very rarely hold hands in the street.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we went to Portsmouth once, and we had literally it wasn't Portsmouth, sorry Portsmouth, it was Plymouth. Went to Plymouth, and we'd literally been off the train for about 3 minutes when somebody called us a pair of effing dykes.
Yeah.
Which was kind of affirming for me, but either way it was homophobic.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like literally 3 minutes. You know, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Has a straight couple ever walked down the street and someone's gone, heterosexuals? No.
Yeah.
Not unless it's a group of our community taking the mickey, but, you know. Yeah.
Shall I tell you a story? So I was in Spain a few months ago, and me and my partner were at an ice cream parlour with our adopted son, and there was a man at the table next to us, and he was a bit drunk, so I just turned back to him, trying to not engage because, you know, didn't want to. But he was like determined to talk to us. So anyway, he turned around to my partner and was like, where are your girlfriends? And we were like, well, Adam was like, they're at home. I was like, okay, that's a bit weird, are they? I didn't realise we had them. Anyway, he then started asking us about like our son and like where the mums were, and were we brothers? And Adam just kind of like went, yeah, we're brothers. I was like, okay. Anyway, I think what I took from that was, we still live in a world where we have to feel like we hide ourselves and we can't be our authentic selves. And if you're straight, you probably don't need to do that, right?
No.
And I'd not thought about this for ages, and then that happened, and I thought, oh my God, like we still, like, this is the 21st century. Why is this even a thing? And I did obviously have a go at Adam afterwards, saying like, how dare you not like fight for your rights.
I just leant over and kissed him.
But yeah, like I think, we need to look at the origins of Pride. So for those that aren't aware, Pride originated in New York in 1969 on June the 28th with the Stonewall Uprising.
Yeah.
I mean, back then, the police raided often the sort of LGBTQ plus spaces. And do you know what? The community had had enough and thought, no, do you know what? No. And they fought back, and it ended up that moment has become a pivotal moment for the LGBTQ plus movement. And actually, that was the birthplace of Pride, because the next year, Pride happened. And this is why Pride Month's in June, because it is based on Stonewall, right?
Yeah, the first Pride March was held the year after in New York. And I think it was something like 100 people started the march at one end of a very long road, because they're all long in New York. And by the time they got to the other end, there was thousands of people marching, because people joined the march on the way.
I just thought it was, as a society, we just like to queue.
Yeah.
So people just joined it, thinking it was a queue.
Americans don't queue.
Okay. Right. So we're gonna round off actually.
Before we do that, sorry, can I just interrupt? Because I love media. You know I love films and stuff like that. Talking about Stonewall, there was a film made in, I think it was 2015, called Stonewall. Don't watch it. Don't watch it, because it's been whitewashed. But in 1995, there was another film named Stonewall. It was broadcast on BBC Two as part of the Arena programme, if anybody is old enough to remember that. And it's based on Stonewall. The characters in it are kind of based on real people, but it's not actually a true, it's not actually, this is what happened, but it's a representation of what happened.
Yeah.
And it's really good, because there's so many messages in it, like how one of the bar owners is dating a trans woman, and he wants them to have the operation, because then they can be a normal couple.
Yeah.
But while she still has her male genitals, then he feels that they can't be. And there's so many messages in it. I'd thoroughly recommend watching it. It was on iPlayer, but I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, good. I mean, I probably won't watch it, I'll be honest.
No, you won't watch it, because you haven't got time for stuff.
For anyone else who was interested, treat yourself. So I just want to round off with the Pride theme by asking you, Nat, what does Pride mean to you?
Pride means to me, it means it gives me a voice. It allows me to mix with my community in a way that I don't normally mix with them.
Yeah.
Because in my normal everyday life, I have a job, and a family and kids, and time spent with that.
Yeah.
And to actually just mingle with people and see people like me, and that is just so uplifting. And then there's also, and I'm not going to leave it alone, there is also that message of, here we are, we're queer, we're here, live with it. And yourself. So
I think it's two things for me. It's one, being unapologetically yourself, and I don't mean being horrible to others. I mean, like, just believing in yourself, owning it, and being confident in who you are. And then the second is actually community, which is just being with others that can resonate with your experiences. That doesn't happen all the time.
No.
And I think Pride is fundamental to that, right? I think being with a community is really important.
Absolutely.
For those little kids that feel like they're like singled out, different.
Life as a LGBTQ child is so lonely if you don't see people like you. Like, everybody is sick of hearing me say this, but my faith is in our children, because you see more acceptance these days in our children, because they're growing up with it and they're seeing it around them. And we need to nurture that, because we want to be one big melting pot of happiness, and that's the only way we're going to get there.
Yeah. And what one thing would you like our audience to take away from this?
Watch Stonewall. Watch Sweetheart. I think that the takeaway would be definitely that to remember the origins and the roots of Pride and why we have Pride, and that it's not just an excuse to have drunk.
Are you drunk already? Yeah.
Well, we're in the Molly house, and this is not water. So it's not just an excuse to get drunk and have a good time and hang out with your mates. Obviously, that is a big part of it. That is a huge part of it, but is to remember the message behind it. And there is a reason that we do it. And the reason we do it is not that good time.
Yeah. It's like a byproduct, isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
Important message. Have fun with it.
And what's Dan say is Yates' message?
My one thing is to actually get involved in Pride. If you've never been before, I think do it. Co-op is so supportive. Like, we went to 41 Prides last year. We're going to, I think it's 31 this year. And we want colleagues there, because actually Co-op is getting behind you as an LGBTQ plus colleague or an ally to show everyone that, like, you know, we stand with you, like, as a business. And that doesn't happen a lot. Like, not every business is that supportive, and I think we need to exploit it.
I mean, to talk Co-op for a brief second, we are one of the leading businesses with DEI.
Yeah.
And that has been recognised by other businesses who actually approach us for advice on how to do things that we're doing. So, yeah, Co-op is behind you, and it'll be so good to see that represented at those 31 Prides this year. And maybe even some Prides that we're not supporting. Just turning up and just having that voice.
Yeah,
showing our appreciation of the community.
Yeah, brilliant. So that's all we've got time for today. We want to thank you for watching, if you've got this far, and hopefully see you soon for our next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.